I was like, oh, maybe there's a reason. Common sense reason in my head might have been like, oh, maybe the cops asked him to. The feds were on the scene a little too quickly that day, actually. And then he got all weird. He was hesitant, coming up with all sorts of excuses why he couldn't show me the footage.
I just, I gotta do an audio check. Just gotta do a quick look. Go ahead, Candy.
Want to put the footage out there. He wanted to protect the footage. He wanted to protect Erica. By the way, in retrospect, even that's weird. Like, why right away are you speaking to Erica about the back footage? Like, why does she care? Again, there's so many more important things. Why do you care? Especially since she said she never watched any footage. Parking that aside,
I can't remember.
That conversation I had with him was on the 17th, and I was like, "You're being weird. You're being weird. You're being weird." And then on the 19th, he sort of broke and said, okay, no, let's just get on the call. I'm happy to show you the footage. So I think in those 2 days, he had figured out a way to show me the footage, which he thought would sort of assuage my suspicion. And I can add to your investigation, EC, by showing you the beginning of our FaceTime conversation, which I had initially cut because he wasn't showing me the footage, but it was me and him speaking. And I did see him open the file on his computer desktop. So let's take a look at that early footage of the beginning of our conversation. And so you can see, obviously, this is FaceTime. You can see that he is opening up the file. And this is how it begins. Now I'm going to freeze frame that for you again because there are people who know more about cameras and whether you're hooking things up. This is what that looks like there. We had wondered ourselves. It seems to be a Sony camera, and Sony camera certainly does have, if you put in the SD card into your computer, it will open obviously your drive will appear on your desktop, and then you will see they automatically label a folder clip. Okay, that's just our basic research. Feel free to dispute with me, guys who know much more about cameras. But it is suspicion, the thing that's kind of now making me go, what the heck? It is my suspicion that that YOLO drive that you're seeing on the left-hand side is likely what he named his SD card. And what is wrong with that, and I'll tell you why that is my suspicion, what is wrong with that is Terrell shouldn't have the SD card.
If you're a dad watching this and you don't have life insurance,
a commercial break.
I get it. You think
you're so clutch.
The thing that you have me thinking, I'm going back now and revisiting. Again, I told you I suffered effectively a brain trauma that I couldn't come back from, having watched Charlie die and then trying to process why I was suddenly fighting people that I thought were his friends in the media and things that were being said about me. Now I'm thinking how strange it is that Terrell didn't just say to me, I don't have the footage. Because the feds were on the ground, and of course they confiscated it. Like, I took the SD card out because it had to be given to the feds. Terrell and I are speaking on the 17th and on the 19th, and at no point in our conversations does he say to me, I don't have the footage, or I don't have the SD card. I'm specifically asking him why he removed the SD card. That was the nature of our discussion. Why did you remove the SD card from the camera? Why did you take the camera down? And his answer was because he wanted to protect Erica. He didn't want Erica to see the footage. He had a conversation with Erica. He didn't want her to see Charlie dying again. Then he says, when I say, okay, well, can I see it? He doesn't say, oh, no, well, obviously I had to then give it to the feds. At no point did he say to me that he gave the SD card to the feds. That suddenly feels very relevant. That's insane. That is totally insane. So now we have a situation where Charlie's phone, we've learned, was not given to the feds. That should have been kept by the feds. That should have been secured by the feds. That should have been like Tyler Robinson's phone or Lance Twig's phone secured by the feds. And now we know that they also, again, on the basis of my conversation with him and what I believe that we are looking at there, that Terrell was able to take that footage back to Arizona. He's opening that on his desktop in Arizona, back in Scottsdale. That doesn't make sense to me, and it is problematic. What we know happens thereafter, because we were playing devil's advocate, me and my producers, And Ashley had suggested, well, maybe that's the reason. Maybe the feds didn't know that Terrell had it. Maybe they found out on your show that Terrell had the footage, and that's why they started putting pressure on Justin Strife to call your husband and see if you had reported the footage. Maybe it was the first time they were aware of it. And I said, well, no, that can't be the circumstance. They couldn't have found out on my show because the entire reason we were covering it and why I was reaching out to Terrell was because it was viral. People saw
Right.
him taking down the footage,
Right.
and suddenly it was viral. Don't you think they would have noticed all of the cameras right away? They would have known we're missing back footage. There was a camera right there. First thing a police officer does, is that a camera? Yeah. Can I get the footage to that camera, this camera? Why did the feds not take the footage from behind Charlie's head?
Mm.
Why did Terrell have it at all? So yes, Nisi, I agree with you that it is very likely that he zoomed in on that footage, and I believe the reason he did that was to obscure our view of the ground. And the question we have to ask ourselves now is
Why?
why? What was on the ground, or what happened on the ground within that view? What did that camera capture specifically that is worth hiding? It has to be something that would solve Charlie's murder. That's my position. And I'm going to stick to that. I think that Tyler Robinson's defense team, you are watching, and I hope you are, because we're helping you a lot here. That's the footage that you need to get. That
The
footage should not be zoomed in.
unedited.
She's correct. Turning Point has that footage. And it should show you the entire ground area. What happens, what the security guards do when after Charlie goes down. And also the aftermath. It may go a very long way in terms of capturing Charlie's true assassin. Again, that's my opinion. And regarding that setup, I actually told you guys early on that I had tabled with Charlie for years, all across the United States, beyond the United States, actually. Events from the East Coast, all down the East Coast, all the way to Hawaii. And the entire setup was strange and new. Charlie, oddly, is on a chair that is upon a platform that seats him above the table. Why? Why was Charlie on a platform and then put on top of a chair on top of the platform above a table? Look at this. Why? He's under a tent and then put up onto a platform. We were never on platforms when we tabled. Charlie was 6'5". He didn't need help seeing above a table. This is not Ben Shapiro on tour, okay? It's Charlie Kirk. He was always here. When and why did they start building this weird little platform stage for Charlie? Again, slowing down the stills from Nisi going back. There's a platform still.
February,
you can see Charlie on this random platform too, but again, he's still below the table, right? Platform 3, okay, that you can see they're just building a little mini stage, maybe to level the ground. Still seems strange to me, but then he's on this platform. Utah, he's just way above the table. Why? Why were they doing this? And even I think something that is even stranger is the camera shot behind Charlie's head. Why? Who needs it? How is that angle at all necessary in a Q&A segment? What are you getting from that angle? Actually, I'm seriously, like, who was like, we need an angle behind Charlie's head? I told you that was brand new, and it feels a bit to me like they were intentionally boiling the frog. And now, in case you're not from America, you're not familiar with that expression, boiling the frog is just a metaphor for doing something slowly. Like, think of literally the idea of a frog. And the idea is the frog, if you just boil it slowly, will stay in the pot, right, until it gets hot. But if you put them right away when the pot is boiling, put the frog into the pot, the frog will jump out. It's just a metaphor, though. You shouldn't try that with frogs at home. It's just a metaphor for how you won't react to dangerous changes if they happen slowly over time. So we looked back and I said, when did they start putting that camera view? And we couldn't find a time before late 2024 when Charlie is tabling and there's a camera directly behind his head. That appears to have arrived in 2025, right? And I want to know if we're correct. I'd like the internet to figure out precisely when this weird view became desirable for Turning Point events, because we noted it, just as Nisi noted it, as a part of the American Comeback Tour. 2025, suddenly they start boiling the frog. He's got this weird camera behind his head, like people, like it was in hot demand. Please, must know what's going on behind Charlie's head. If you want to know Charlie's eyesight, you would put a camera to the right of him, to the left of him. And we checked the tour before. We said, okay, what was the tour before the American Comeback Tour in 2024? That was his brainwashed tour. And here are some examples of the tabling. Look at this. Here is Charlie, March 7th, 2024. There was no camera behind his head. Here is Charlie on September 5th, 2024, the brainwash tour, the University of Wisconsin. We go to the next one. There is no camera behind his head. And here is Charlie at Northern Arizona University on October 15th, 2024. Again, the brainwash tour. There is no camera behind his head.
This is the perfect pair for your iPhone. And it replaces 3 different chargers. So when I travel, I don't pack extra cables, I don't have to pack extra bricks. This covers my phone, my watch, and anything USB Type-C. It's probably the most useful.
Why the change? Why were we doing something new in 2025? Why is there so much brand new? I told you never in the history of every Turning a Point event that I did from 2017 all the way through 2024 did we have a camera behind our head. I want answers. That also seems to have arrived specifically with the big sponsorship deal with YRefi as well. I'll also state that. These are things that should be explored. Great job, Nisi. I want to switch gears here to travel back to late fall 2016, just before the election, the big election. Donald Trump versus Hillary Clinton. Donald Trump is traveling all throughout the country, giving us one-liners about Hillary Clinton. The media does not think that she can be beat. And I know what you're thinking right now. You're thinking, but what were Lori Franzway and Erica Kirk doing at that time? Great question. That is exactly the right question, my friends. And I have an answer, a very strange answer, okay? So Lori and Erica's stepfather, Larry, who we have not done really any research on Larry Ginta. I probably should have included that in my Erica series, but what they were doing at that time is they were trying to get in on a gun company. A gun company. Now, I don't know how this just keeps happening, but these are the facts, okay? So Lori came into contact with a couple of guys who had filed a patent. So they had a patent pending that was for a unique gun. Think about the story that we told you with Fold AR. First AR that's going to fold and what was in the backpack of every school resource officer. That's Corby Hall's story. In comes Victor Marks. I'm interested in this. And what's the conclusion of that? Victor Marks wants the patent for Israel. Remind you, Victor Marks wanted the patent for Israel. He wanted to push Corby Hall out and get him a deal so that he would sell to Israel. Okay. Similarly, Lori Franzway and Larry were interested in a gun pending patent, and this was going to be a gun that was and is today the only now patent approved weapon that features interchangeable calibers, okay? So you can put different rifling in each of the cylinders. It's essentially a convertible weapon, so to speak, for those of you who are like me and not up on your weaponry. That is incredibly unique to be able to do that. They accomplished that by extending the cylinder. The patent today is actually approved. Anyway, the story goes that Lori, remember, we had showed you that she had gone to this expo, this exposition up in Salt Lake City in Utah. And this is when she was hawking her G-Tech Industries, her EMP Doomsday Tech. Showed you this. And I'm going to say allegedly here, but I am telling you the truth. Allegedly, this time, she and Larry meet the guys that have this patent pending, and they offer to introduce these guys to their angel investor for G-Tech Industries. So they set up a dinner back in Scottsdale, Arizona. Again, this is going to be late 2016. At this dinner, you have Lori, you have Larry Ginta, and the 2 would-be company owners. Again, I want to be clear, the gun was not yet manufactured. So they were there to discuss only patent, a potential deal for it, and what they could offer in exchange for it. The answer being, we have access to government contracts. Of course they do. Yeah, we know that. Lori was doing deals with the government for her EMP tech. Was she going to do the deal with the government for guns? I don't know. But I'll tell you what my favorite part of the story is. My favorite part of the story is who strolls in unannounced at this dinner to sweeten up the potential deal. None other than Erica Fransberg. You could just see it. Arizona's beauty queen arrives fashionably late to the dinner, all dolled up, looking very glamorous. So the story goes. She's very familiar with everybody in the restaurant. She's a little bit of a hometown hero. Hello, hello. Oh, hi, hair blowing in the wind, right? And then she takes her seat at the restaurant table and dives into this discussion, this business discussion about selling or potentially acquiring a piece of the company, doing this little exchange. And you just have to love it. To me, her and her mom are like Bonnie and Clyde. And I'm told that during this discussion, Erica then drops the fact that she has, and her mother says, oh, it's not known yet, but she's just now dating a guy that has very big political connections. They're just a couple of months into dating, because that sweetens the deal a little bit. Oh, you've got this beautiful girl, and now you realize this girl has access to someone who is a player, right? And the person, in retrospect, thought that she was talking about Charlie Kirk, but she actually wasn't. At this time, according to our timeline, Erica was dating Cabot Phillips. Cabot Phillips he was on Ellen DeGeneres. He had a little thing going with his brothers early on, and so that was to suggest. He never said the name, but she's got a political boyfriend who's got some connections as well. And look, she's Miss Arizona, right? Well, fortunately for the men that were involved with the patent, nothing actually ever materialized from that meeting. But it sure is interesting that Lori Fransberg was interested in the weapons industry, particularly in the unique gun industry. Guns, unlike guns that had ever been made before industry, the kind of industry that Victor Marx was into. And this person, apparently, the person that was involved with this patent.
They say higher education is outdated, irrelevant, but at Grand Canyon University, we shatter the status quo. GC.
You know what? I can't even complain. I can't really complain. Like how the commercials are sort of structured. Because if you watch her live, if you watch Candace live, they have started embedding the commercials into her live stream. And so what will happen is the screen will split. They will mute her live. She's still talking. And they'll have the commercial playing on the side of Candace. And she's just talking. I was like, oh, I got to stop watching her. Tell that guy I have to catch you on the rerun, honey, because, oh my goodness. I said, uh-uh. We definitely can't do that. I think it happened, maybe it started like maybe about a month and a half ago. Could be longer. I don't know, but
Actually got into a little lawsuit with Victor Marx. I don't know who won. I have to dig it up. I'm still researching that. But it's just a tangled web that we keep weaving. Our faith leaders, remember, Erica says she learned everything that she knows through the steadfast commitment and the faith of her mother. That her mother sort of like was just this faith woman. I looked into Lori. I feel differently about her.
Ooh.
Okay, so if she learned everything from her mother, That should terrify you.
Ooh.
That should absolutely terrify you. It terrifies me in the retrospect. Man, I wish I had done a deep dive on Erica when Charlie had met her. I just wanted him to find a girl, settle down. I knew how much he wanted that, and so I just was too much of the wing woman. But this just can't keep happening, you guys. The pattern that I am seeing here: guns, trafficking, sex trafficking, charities, always charitable. Erica always somehow just floating around.
She's so
Something
stupid.
right here. Something is not right. And as I mentioned to you guys before, as we started to see people always 1 degree away from Jeffrey Epstein,
Right.
1 degree away from Israel,
Right.
sometimes less than that.
Ooh.
One of the things that just strikes me as really compelling is to consider the timeline. Jeffrey Epstein goes down in 2017, right? Did Jeffrey Epstein go down in 2017? I think it was 2017, 2020, maybe 2018, actually. And suddenly, we're supposed to believe his entire network crashed and burned, and everyone was like, okay, it's a global trafficking network
Right.
that began with weapons. Keep reminding you guys, Jeffrey Epstein. We speak
weapons
about the
dealing,
files,
right.
and we talk about the blackmail, and we talk
Right.
about the sex. But Jeffrey Epstein
What's
began
up,
his
weapons?
career
Exactly.
in weapons trafficking.
Right.
The Iran-Contra scandal. How do we know that? Because a former Mossad agent testified to that effect. That he was introduced by Robert Maxwell and brought into the Iran-Contra affair. They've tried to bury that connection, but you can certainly found it. We did in our Epstein series. Thankfully, because of the journalism of Xavier Broussard, over in France. Don't forget that.
He's in Italy
I believe,
now.
like I've said multiple times, that Jeffrey Epstein's network reemerged, and I think it reemerged in the not-for-profit world. I'm speculating, but I'm also really good at puzzles, and I just don't see how certain patterns can just keep happening. That faithful people can truly just be interested all in the exact same thing, human sex trafficking. And I gotta tell you, there are still more connections to be added that we have not yet shared yet. Anyway, we are going to take a brief break, and then I'm going to tell you all about Blakey Neff and his shocking attack against me on X. All right, you guys, Mother's Day is...
It's like every day she always got to respond to them. Every fucking day. I'm like, dang, y'all. Just go.
showings.
Yo, we always got to wait on their commercial. Come on, YouTube. We get it.
Okay, so Blake Neff, he has a talent of sorts. He has a way of
I
just
guess.
always sort of leaning into a conversation when actually nobody cares about his opinion, and never responding when we make
Definitive.
big claims.
Right.
He responds
It's always
to
little
nothingness.
petty.
And
Right.
we're like, hey, Blake, while you're here, could you answer our question about
And
this
then he go
big
back under his
thing,
ruler
this
rock.
big topic that we have brought to the forefront of the American conscience? No. So yesterday, he just took a random shot at me, and here's what he said. It was kind of shocking that he said this, actually. He wrote, in the opening of her show today, which thank you for watching my show, Candace claims, quote, liars on the internet have falsely claimed that Tyler Robinson's family turned him in, and that they have falsely claimed his parents, quote, recognized grandpa's gun on the news, end quote, which is impossible, she says, since no photos of the gun were released before Robinson's arrest. This is a remarkably precise way to be dishonest, because when one simply bothers to read the charging document, one sees that Robinson's parents did not recognize the gun. They recognized photos of the suspect, which were released by the FBI as looking like their son. Only then did they move on to suspecting that the rifle was a match, and at that point, the FBI had already announced that they had found a high-powered bolt-action rifle. We know Candace has seen all of this. It's worth asking, why would she so deliberately misrepresent the evidence? So he quotes me as saying, liars on the internet have falsely claimed that his parents recognized the gun. And so I think what's going on is they change the story so much. Like I say, the FBI is making it up as they go along, that they forget the lies they told us yesterday. They forget what money they've spent on influencers to influence us about certain topics or certain facts yesterday, because then they moved on and like, oh no, we can't do that anymore. And that is what Blake is succumbing to here. So I just obviously tweeted right back at him the headlines. There were many headlines which said exactly what I shared, like this one in the Daily Mail. Tyler Robinson's father realized his son was shooter after seeing family heirloom in media reports. And then I had shared with him another one that was on MSN that he had recognized the rifle. And by the way, since you're speaking about the charging document,
Right.
which I have read many times over and over again, that's exactly where they were getting it from. Not what the police officer said, but from Tyler Robinson's, and by Tyler Robinson's, I mean the Fed's very sloppy messages that they put together. This is the text message, Blake, that people used to deduce that his dad might have seen the rifle on the news. He wrote, "My dad wants photos of the rifle. He says Grandpa wants to know who has what. The Feds released a photo of the rifle, and it is very unique. He's calling me right now, not answering." Well, if you read that message, Blake, it kind of sounds like the reason his dad is calling him is because the Feds released a message of the rifle and it's very unique. It doesn't sound like he's saying it was a generic release, which it was. So that's why this didn't really make sense. It was fair for the media to conclude on the basis of those messages that his dad recognized it, and that's why he was calling Tyler. So I hope that helps. I know, like I said, when you lie, you have to have a good memory. That's what Judge Judy always instructed to people. If you're going to be a liar, you better have a good memory. And you, my friend, do not have a good memory. But while we have your attention,
Blakey.
Blake Neff, there was this huge claim that we made on the show about a week ago, where I said that I spoke to multiple donors who tell me that the audio that you released
Ooh,
of Charlie Kirk saying, "I appoint Erica Kirk
fake.
to be the CEO and chairman if something ever happens to me." They claim that he never said that in Aspen. They claim Erica actually was in Aspen, even though she didn't attend the event, and that Charlie definitively never said
Nobody
that
gonna
on
film?
stage, nor did he say it in a smaller dinner that took place with about 10 to 12 people, is my understanding. That's a pretty big claim I'm making there, Blake. I'm saying that I have proof, I have at least testimony from donors, your donors, that say that they believe that that is AI. And you have testified to the public, or Erica rather, certainly explained to Megyn Kelly, you guys were the ones that introduced this, that you have the video. And yet you declined to share the video. What a beautiful sight that would have been. Charlie Kirk opening AmFest. A video of him saying, "I appoint Erica Kirk," and then Erica Kirk walks out. Wow, there wouldn't have been a dry eye in the place, Blakey Neff. So why didn't you guys move to show that? That doesn't seem like you guys. That seems out of the ordinary. You guys have, I mean, you put up a tent, a recreation of a tent that Charlie had died under for selfies. It kind of feels like if you had the video, you would have shared it. And instead you got angry at me when I suggested that you should share the video. And you accused me of being a psychopath with a gun, or a knife rather, on a subway. And that's why you couldn't share it. Okay, you don't need to share it with me, Blake. You should share it with people in the world because it just makes sense to do that. So, yeah, while we have your attention, could you respond to that much more severe allegation rather than just responding to me telling the truth? Could you actually respond to me asserting that your own donors think that you may have used AI and then lied to the public because you wanted them to accept Erica in the role of Charlie Kirk? Any kind of response would be great here. You could say that's not true. The donor's lying. He did say it. We do have the video. We just want to keep it in a vault. I wouldn't recommend you say that. That would be another stupid lie. Well, you kind of did say that. But yeah, if you could just respond to that, that'd be great. And
never, and I mean never ask, "How are you?" Oh, how are you?
Don't tell me what to not ask.
anyway, on to greener pastures, I guess. Greener pastures. Laura Loomer is trending for a tweet that she directed to me yesterday that upsets a lot of people. It upset them because it was just so shockingly dark and demonic. This is the tweet that I am referring to that's trending. It's directed to
Oh,
me.
not God hates you. That's your opening line, Laura Loomer. Well, you know what? She did go at Laura Loomer yesterday, so you know they're gonna respond. Everybody.
Episode, she said, God hates you at Real Candace O. It's why he gave Charlie to Erica and why you didn't even get to say goodbye to him. God hates you.
Ooh.
Look in the mirror and internalize how much God hates you. We all hate you. Humanity hates you. You are irredeemable.
First of all, I don't know about humanity. Not at 5.96. I don't know about no humanity. And don't count me in. That ain't got nothing to do with that. I'm not a part of that humanity that she talking about. Oh, and that karma. Listen, let me tell you something. 2027 is the karma of 2027. The karma of 2027. Remember the evolution of 2025, the positive attitude of 2026, the karma of 2027. Please, everybody, please, please. Don't be putting stuff out there like this in the world. She said, God hates you. And it got 1.1 million impressions on X, of course, but ooh. Mm. Ooh. Oh my God, I can't believe that.
This caused a reaction across the internet. I think like 6,000 people replied to that tweet alone in a ratio. And I think I was going, why are people surprised by this? And I realized
we don't know her.
They don't know who Laura Loomer is.
Look, I'm like, we don't know that bitch.
I think maybe these people don't take us literally when we say that Trump, that's one of his top advisors, is surrounded by people who are quite literally in need of an exorcism. Ooh. I'm not saying that for dramatic effect. I am saying literally he is surrounding himself with people that are I think demonstrably demonic, right? Like that's what people were so like, that's just demonic. That's very straight. It doesn't hurt anybody's feelings. It makes me uncomfortable to be around you. That seems like you worship Baal. That's why you would say something like that. That's a very weird thing to say. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of what I'm trying to clue you guys into. That is why Laura Loomer has become significant, because we can look at her to understand the erraticism of Donald Trump, our president. He doesn't seem like the same person. He seems as though he has been possessed. That's his top advisor. According to her, multiple times a day, she speaks to him on the phone. One of the first phone calls he made after attacking Iran was to Laura Loomer. And so it was important for me to break down who she is and to make sure you lower your expectations when it comes to people like her. Like I said, her goal is to harm people psychologically by lying, just by lying openly all the time. And I want you to know that in her own words, she has admitted to her addiction, which she has described as cocaine-like, to Spectator, because she'll say, "Oh, it doesn't matter. This person's lying." Take Laura in her own words. In an article that was done by the Spectator here, which was called "The Tale of Laura Loomer," which was published in 2019, where she described having anxiety and depression. She wrote, "I had really bad anxiety and depression, and then I started to basically deal with depression by doing cocaine. I was never a drug user before, but I was using cocaine to kind of deal with it." Laura was 23 years old. She continues, "There were phases when I wouldn't sleep for 3 days straight, and one morning I woke up and drove myself to a cliff, and it was cold and kind of snowy outside. It was February. I tried to kill myself, like legitimately tried to kill myself," okay? So you can understand why she's not allowed to own guns. Suicide is nothing to mock, but it is something that she uses as one of her tools. Often, she, like I told you yesterday, she makes suicidal threats, and there is an aspect of her that feels very homicidal. I'm not being funny. I'm not trying to be ironic when I say that this is a person who should not have access to the president of the United States. And everybody sees that. And the fact that people reflect and think, if something happened to Trump, like I told you, people in, as I understand it, Melania's inner circle have said this, that she would be the most likely person to harm Donald Trump. And what would be crazy in the retrospect is that the whole world would go, Yeah, duh. Duh. Like if she harmed a person, everyone would look around and go, every single sign was there. 50 states you can't own a gun in, things that you have said and shared about yourself, threats that you have made to other people, the manner in which you attack children. Like she wants my children to suffer, as she said yesterday. She wants my children to suffer and live on the streets because she doesn't like that I'm against what Israel is doing. She's attacking my lawyers, she's attacking my in-laws. That is the kind of person who is dangerous to themselves and to others. And so how did she deal with her cocaine addiction? You're wondering why it seems like she tweets every 5 minutes and like she's deep in the throes of a manic episode. Well, she explains in this article, I have nothing to lose now. And by the way, this is in the context of her having lost her Twitter access. This is, I have nothing to lose now, so it's liberating, she says. I became addicted to social media. I kind of lived off of the adrenaline. It's not a very healthy lifestyle to live because when you stop using cocaine, for example, you learn to cope with anxiety and depression in other ways. I pretty much substituted my lows for adrenaline rushes on Twitter. When I got banned, I was honestly having withdrawals. Okay.
Really?
So it's a drug for her. Like
Right.
Twitter is a drug for her, and that's why she tweets to the wee hours of the morning, saying crazy things, spiraling in these manic episodes. And so I just want to make that clear to you. These are the people. When you look at what Donald Trump is saying, what he's doing, and why he just does not seem like he is steady right now, like he does not seem like there is a sane voice. He went from having the advice of people like Charlie Kirk, radically flipped that to people like Laura Loomer and Paula Payne. Okay, this is a real clip of Laura Loomer when she did Alex Jones a few years ago. Take a listen. But what are they doing? I want to know what people are actually going to do. My life is ruined. Does anybody understand how ruined my life is? I'm sick of it. I don't want to listen to people tell me that I'm a conspiracy theorist. They don't know what it's like to be me. My life is ruined, Alex.
Scribe makes step-by-step guides for any process. With AI,
Was it the
you know
blue
what's
check mark?
terrifying?
What?
When
Oh
you
my
start
God. Wasn't it the blue check mark that she was complaining? Oh my God.
So forget Laura Loomer. The
Right.
question you should be asking yourself is Donald Trump
Right.
mentally fit to be president?
Oh.
If he makes a conscious decision to tweet out that Tucker Carlson and Megyn Kelly and Candace Owens are mentally ill, while he invites into his inner circle advice about what he should do to Iran, a person like Laura Loomer, who, like I said, when we're calling her crazy and we're talking, this is a clinical diagnosis. It's not an opinion. It's not funny. We're not using the word loosely. This is a clinical diagnosis. I personally think that Trump needs an intervention. I don't think the back forth, when I see the erraticism of the way he tweets, it's almost as if he's given access to his truth socials to people like her. There's just, there's an erraticism here that feels dangerous for our country, right? Like he doesn't care anymore, that he's gotten to some point of desperation, whether he is functioning under duress, whether he is being blackmailed, I don't know. What I do know is this is not the Trump that we had for the first 4 years. And even if you have hated him from the very beginning, if you love the idea that the Republican Party is at war with each other, if you're still functioning within the left-right paradigm, you should pull yourself away and actually have a broader sense of concern for the country. And want there to be actually an intervention. You should pray for Donald Trump. You should want there to be a sane voice in the room. And at the moment, we're not getting that. So that's what I just wanted to say is don't be surprised at what Laura Loomer is doing. Be surprised that she has the ear of the President of the United States. We'll be right back after a brief break. All right, you guys, let's talk about something most of us have never even heard of, but you should have. It is called C15, a powerful essential fatty acid that research shows many are deficient in.
I think
That's
we're
why
gonna go
I
to
am taking a
comments.
science.
Almost. No, we on comments, I guess.
/Owens.
Already.
All right, you guys. We have new merch on the website. We merged subscription tiers into one Club Candace tier for $11.99 a month or for $120 a year. So join. The book
Been
club
an
is very
hour
interesting.
already.
And we have just been like, it's just making us understand the world in a whole new way. It feels like it's all happening right now. And like I often say on our book club, all roads lead to France somehow, which is incredible. So if you want to support the show, you can head to CandaceOwens.com and grab yourself some kit, maybe some kit that we're going to send to Blakey Neff. Okay, top comment from last episode. A Plain Jane production writes, there is absolutely no way that a judge can allow this to move forward if the defense hasn't been given full disclosure. Yeah, it is going to be very interesting. I know a lot of people had looked into the judge and thought that it was very suspicious that he was appointed by Governor Cox and that he didn't have the background and the experience for a case of this size. There was something new about him. I never covered it. This will be the tell. Like I said, a continuance is it's basically like common courtesy in court. Like, unless I could see if you're like 3 years into something, and you're like, no, I want this to move on with it. But 7 months into the highest profile murder case in JFK, this is nothing. This is nothing to ask for. Obviously, with the amount of stuff they have to look through, they dumped 600,000 files on them in March, and you're arguing this. That does not sit right with me. It should not sit right with you. And if this judge does not grant this continuance after effectively ensuring them that when they rebutted immediately to putting a date on the calendar because of this very thing, remember the defense said, let's not put a date on the calendar until we have our discovery stuff and we will have a better idea. And the judge said, oh no, it's all good. Par for the courses. We can always bump it down the line. If that judge now does a 180, if the court does a 180 and is like, actually, we can't bump this anymore because Erica has asserted her right as a victim, we'll know. We already know. We don't know, but we know. But I think that at that moment we will know what's really going on with this judge, and we will be locked in and covering it. Ooh. Second top comment is from Faith Central. She wrote, a class action lawsuit should be filed against the FBI on behalf of Tyler Robinson due to the FBI withholding evidence from the defense. Do you know what? I have thought about that. I have thought about what are the ways in which we can compel information on the outside. We learn their way where everyone's just suing and ceasing and desisting, and we learn their tools for compelling that sort of information. It's a conversation worth having, and it's probably a conversation that I should have, since I have so many lawyers all the time. I might as well toss them a question about what can we do to get answers, from these organizations, from these people, to get them to answer the basic questions that the public deserves to know. Because they, like I said, they brought the public into this when they made the decision to assassinate Charlie Kirk publicly.
They don't want you to know how toxic this is. If you're buying produce from the grocery store, you need to see this.
Okay. They don't get to then tell us, oh, well, you shouldn't mind. On that note, I do want to say and put out an APB. I just have this deep question, deep consideration about what happened to Charlie's body. And I don't really buy the reaction Erica had when somebody asked her a question, or why Fox News asked her that question, when they said, she's like, can I have one thing for my kids? When they asked about where he was buried, and there's one thing for your kids, girl, you took us into the casket. Why do you care? Highly unusual. It would be highly unusual for people to be going around wanting to dig up a casket, or the person is dead. They're gone from this world. There does tend to be some basic reverence that people have, and if there's not, hey, guess what? You have a ton of money. You could get security to monitor for a little bit. Conscience. And I had wondered, because I learned early on that she had moved the body a couple of times, and that doesn't sit right with me. There was no reason to do that, and I am wondering if they cremated Charlie's body. That's a yes or no question. You don't need to tell me where Charlie's body is, but did you cremate him? Yes or no? And so if you have information pertaining to that, if you have a yes or no answer to that, and at first his body was taken to a place that was a burial plus cremation services, and then it was taken somewhere else, and then it was taken to a third place. And I am just wondering whether or not Charlie was ever buried, or whether or not he had a Catholic funeral mass and then he was cremated. I think that's a fair question given where we are at in this investigation. It's a yes or no question. Was Charlie Kirk cremated? We are just we'll be in a whole new place, guys. We'll be in a whole new place. If you have information pertaining to that, more tips at CandaceOwens.com. More tips at CandaceOwens.com. We will protect your identity entirely. You can trust us.
Look,
We will protect our sources.
look. She
We're
talking
going
to the.
protect our sources. There has not been anyone that has been outed as one of our sources. And if I was compelled to testify, I wouldn't.
I know it's a mess.
Because this matters to me, and I want to know whether
But
or
to my
not Charlie
friend.
was cremated. I find her reaction to be very strange, actually. I don't think it was for her kids. I don't think she does anything for her kids. Just looking at everything, being frank, I don't think the priority for Erica is her kids, where he's buried. That doesn't feel right. Anyway, getting into some of your comments from today's episode. Keeping faith with Father Joseph writes, Candace, I have footage that could change the investigation. DM me. Email it to us. I'll look out for that. More tips at CandaceOwens.com. Thank you. Bigfoot Believer writes, when the investigation began, you mentioned that you felt that the shot came from a left of Charlie. I wonder if that is visible in Terrell's footage, which is why he zoomed. I have a big test tomorrow. Took a break to watch you. I need a bit of luck.
Good luck
Good
on
luck
your
on your
test.
tests. Study hard, but don't study too hard, because you get to that point where you're actually not even retaining any information.
Right.
And it's best to study right before you go to sleep.
Right.
And then wake up fresh, and a lot of information will come to you. Alaska Dog Lady writes, everyone wants to make fun of us Catholics until they need an exorcism. I'm looking at you, Larry. Yeah, that she is very much in need of an exorcism. That's the only thing that can explain that. The places that her mind goes, and she doesn't understand that that's not like a normal person doesn't get there. It's just weird. You don't get there. You don't want to harm kids. You don't want kids to here's what your kids. I want our kids to live on the streets. It's like, okay, man, you're making everybody uncomfortable here. Spyro writes, Loomer's whiteboard notes are so sad. Blank days until election. Stay focused. No drama. Hit goals. Victory. I need a registry for all her supporters. I want to know which stupid people are even more stupid behind closed doors. Yeah, I mean, her whole life is Donald Trump, and if you go back and look at her tweets, it's not, you don't say like I love, like she's like I'm in love, I love. It's giving Fatal Attraction, and Trump will knock it out of that with his hands clean. You don't get to and then think that you're not going to suffer down the line, right? The devil always collects. You want someone to do your dirty work, but be aware that they know your secrets. You don't think she's recording you, keeping a file on you, like that will be something one day. And so the Trump family made a big mistake welcoming that in. Unstable is unstable. Mentally insane is mentally insane. Nay writes, I'm wondering if Kash Patel's country singing superstar girlfriend will write some songs and perform them for us at the show Trial of the Century. I'm wondering if she's maybe helping with the text messages. The bed slot messages. There was this line that they added in, now that people have been going through the affidavits, they had some ellipses at various points in the messages that we got, and they've added sentences. And one of them was, I hope, I'm not kidding, this is in Tyler Robinson's messages. I hope that Pooch, referring to the dog, he said the canines were here. I hope that Pooch has a bad sniffer.
Pooch.
That's what Tyler Robinson wrote to Lance. We're supposed to believe that. And I think it's a country song. I was in a country that had bad sniffers, cashes, like I feel they were just kind of writing some music when they did those text messages. It's possible, right? It's more plausible than what they're selling us right now. I feel. And I feel like Kash Patel right now suing, is it The Atlantic? Because they said that he's a drunk. I actually feel like The Atlantic's argument should be that makes him look good. Right? It's much more damaging, inflammatory, and mortifying to your brand to think that you're doing this in your sobriety, right? Drinking would be a great excuse for like an FBI, the head of the DOJ, coming out and being like, my girlfriend's a sensational country. Like, that's really mortifying. But if you're drunk Like, oh my God, what did I say last night? Oh my God, it was crazy. No, I didn't mean that. I was just drunk, guys. That was crazy. Oh man, none of that's real.
That's nothing compared to Donald Trump, Lord. Child, that is nothing compared to Donald Trump, honey. He is suing the IRS. He. Tory Lanez is suing California Corrections Department of Corrections. It's lawsuits all over the place. Oh my God. Oh my God. It's lawsuits everywhere. Left, right, front, back. I don't know when I read that article about that doggone Donald Trump suing the IRS. Child, I think it was 50 billion. Sir. And then the sad part is Tory Lanez, he's suing for 100 million. Sir, get your money up. 100. You were supposed to be over there in the 500s, 750s. What is $100 million gonna do? Especially after you pay your lawyers. So what is $100 million gonna do? And how many times you got? Man, Tory Lane tripping. Tory Lane's tripping.
So I think he should go with that. I think he should go with excessive drinking. The Atlantic should argue they were trying to make him look good and offer an explanation for the things that he has said and the things that he has done, and that the average person finds that to be good for him. That'd be better than him really in his sobriety doing some of these things. Anyways, that's my opinion. I'm sticking to it. Matthew writes, so Blake Knapp is brave enough to reply to you on X, calling you a liar, but won't come into your studio to prove you're a liar? Yeah, that doesn't sound childish and cowardice at all. Man up, Blake. LOL. Look, he doesn't have to come to my studio. Like, it's so, tech is just so easy. We can just appear on the Charlie Kirk show. He can just appear on the Candace show. I would welcome the conversation, particularly about the AI. I don't feel these donors are making that up. They were pretty shocked to hear that it was the Aspen little retreat thing that it came from. They're certain that Charlie never said it. I would reply if I was Turning Point USA. We'll see. Tarkaya writes, Laura Loomer is very dangerous, especially if she has been given access anywhere near the president of the United States. Yeah, he's just playing with fire. Play, and then it burns down your whole house. I don't know. I'm not his other advisors, so you just have to let happen what is going to happen, and we'll see. We'll see what happens. Anyway, you guys, tomorrow we will have an interview for you with Corby Hall.
Nice.
Yes, I am very excited about this. Obviously, you know, Victor Marks did not want to join with Corby Hall, so we kept our appointment with Corby Hall, and you'll be able to hear his story about what Victor Marks had to say. Victor Marks is saying all of these demands. I'll do it. I get to bring my wife. Okay. You can just join the show, Victor Marks, be normal. I'm going to let Corby tell his piece and present his evidence, and then you can similarly tell your piece and you can present your evidence. You don't get to bring your wife and list all of these terms of engagement. Just, I'll give you a dial-in. How about that? I feel like that's probably the most appropriate thing, given some more stuff that I have learned about you and Jimmy Barbecue. Guys, this is going to sound crazy, but Jimmy Barbecue's watching the show.
Oh, I can believe it. Down there in 80. Child, all you had to do was say his name. And they were, oh, she said your name.
I don't know what to say. I'm a big deal in Haiti.
Yeah.
That's what I want you guys to know. I'm a very big deal in Haiti.
For sure.
I got some boys out in Haiti.
Look.
So nobody better mess with me,
Oh.
okay? Nobody better mess with me is what I'm going to say. So you just be careful what you're saying at this toddler park, Cabot Phillips. You just be careful because I'm out of my boot and I got some people in Haiti, okay? And they'll take care of business for me. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Bingo. That damn music on. Now they flagging us for the intro, outro music. Cuff Boys is up. Hold on just a second. It's so much going on. Let me get me a thumbs up. Oh, I got 4. Bam. I'm up to 509 subscribers. I don't know why it's so blurry like that. I have no idea why it look blurry like that. We just need to keep it pushing. I don't know why she be letting him do her hair. And I don't know when she got that tattoo on her eye. No bad, just struggling, Lord. Who was I supposed to be going with? No, where is Comfortable at? It's typically who I have to go to. I know. You all on my time. Oh my god. I'm ready to get ready to go lay down. I ain't take no nap today. So unfortunately I am not gonna be hanging around too long. Unfortunately, I didn't take a nap. It's one of them days where I just didn't get to take a nap. You gotta pause the commercials because they be having music. It just be so much going on.
Complaint documents have been released in the David murder case, and some people think they figured out the murder weapon. All right, boys, here we go. We got the people of the state of California versus David Anthony Burke. Bro was born in 2005. That is crazy.
2005,
I am bunking out.
exactly.
On April 23rd, 2025, County of Los Angeles, the crime of murder was committed by David Anthony Burke, who did unlawfully and with malice aforethought murder Celeste, a human being. So they pinpointed April 23rd through witness testimony, digital forensic data, like phone evidence and all that. Probably got text messages of him inviting her over on that date. I don't believe this date was public. I know the last known picture of her was early January 2025. It's further alleged that the murder of Celeste was intentional and was carried out by the defendant for financial gain. It's further alleged that Celeste was a witness to a crime and was intentionally killed because of that fact. She's a witness to her being essayed
Underage.
because she's a minor.
Yeah.
It's further alleged that the murder of Celeste was committed by defendant David Burke, and defendant intentionally killed the victim by means of lying in wait within the meaning, blah, blah, blah. So he planned to do it. This was all a big plan. He lured her to his house. He knew he was gonna have to do it because she probably was threatening him at some point. And here's the sharp instrument part. David Anthony Burke personally used a deadly weapon, sharp instrument. Now here are the counts for the sexual charges. September 7, 2023 and September 7, 2024, so a full year time frame. SA committed by David Anthony Burke. I'm sure they have so many text messages between the two, right? Whatever app it is, they got a search warrant, they got all the text messages, they probably got a phone dump download. Did they ever find her phone? I feel like they never found her phone, if I were to guess. There's so many things we don't know. Count 3. On or about May 5th, 2025, in the county of LA, the crime of unlawful mutilation of human remains was committed by David Anthony Burke. I'm really shocked no one
Man.
else is charged yet, because I just thought there had to be more than just him involved. Like
What?
I really doubt he did this alone, but they haven't charged anyone else yet. But what this means is they're saying she died around April 23rd and she wasn't dismembered until May 5th. So that is what? 12 days of her being dead in his house. Figuring out what to do, panicking, is what they're alleging. This shit is so disturbing. Now, Steve Fisher thinks he figured out the murder weapon. He says the murder charges filed against David Anthony Burke allege that he lured Celeste to his residence and killed her on April 23rd. Using a sharp instrument. On April 24th and 25th, screenshots from social media videos and posts appear to show a lateral wound on David's hand. He wrote, "You guys can't bully me anymore," in the caption. Additionally, photos recovered from an SD card in David's camera show a knife he photographed several months earlier. That knife has ridges on the handle, which, if he held in a stabbing grip and used very aggressively, could produce a lateral wound consistent with the injury visible in David's hand. So here's the picture of the alleged wound. This is literally April 25th, 2025. So within hours of him murdering her. Crazy shit. I mean, it does look like that could be a wound from a knife. This is the day after he allegedly murdered her. Your prayers have been answered. It's finally here. My album drops tomorrow. Another zoomed in shot of the hand with the alleged wound on it. This picture of the knife handle we've seen before. It could be a wound from her fighting him. In the Brian Koberger case, he had wounds on his hands. He covered his hands up, wore gloves and shit after murdering those 4 college students.
There was a sort of veiled threat from the defense there that they want to proceed. They don't want to waive time for a preliminary hearing. They want their hearing in 15 days.
Kohlberger. Every time I hear his damn name, I just can't. Every time. It's the PTSD that I get every time I hear the damn Kohlberger name. Every goddamn time I hear it, it pisses me off. He just Something about that cold burger that it just my skin starts to just the level of entitlement. It is so unfathomable how people can exist. Oh my god, they're they're bullying me. They won't let me sleep. They keep banging on the walls and stuff.
The reality of that is that the discovery is not going to be ingested by them before the prelim.
Yeah, it's too much discovery, even if they get it. I think he is gonna waive his right to a speedy trial. I think there's gonna be too much evidence for them to have to go through in 60 days. It's just not possible for certain cases, especially a case like this. It's gonna be very complex. A lot of pages and pages of email bullshit, Snapchat, Facebook, Twitter, pages and pages, probably videos of his live streams with Celeste. 'Cause remember, he was on live stream with her on Twitch. It's just gonna be tons of evidence. So there's no way this trial starts in June.
It's a strategy to push and at least
Well, I mean, excuse me. Okay, so there was a knife involved. Gotcha. I heard that Missy Elliott did come out. Let me go to 4159 and see what happened. Reseller. Because I know somebody was talking about, yes, this one. Oh man, I had read an article last night on NPR about this chick WeChat message. Why are you monitoring my WeChat messages? And I thought it was encrypted anyway, but still, why are you monitoring my WeChat
Benjamin
messages?
Netanyahu, if you can hear this,
Look.
my ex-wife is close to developing a nuclear weapon.
Uh-oh.
Benjamin Netanyahu, do what must be done. Please.
That Netanyahu joke, you can literally now be arrested for
Look,
making it.
look,
And no, I am not joking.
look,
A Florida college student was just arrested for
look.
making
And she was in college.
Netanyahu
Florida
joke
University.
in a WhatsApp group chat.
WhatsApp. Why are you in my WhatsApp chat messages? That's what I don't understand. Like, please explain to me why are you.
It's unfortunate because I'm assuming she's a senior and going to graduate soon, and now this is going to jeopardize her ability to graduate.
A 23-year-old FIU student charged with a felony over messages she wrote in a school group chat. Gabriela Saldana facing a judge Thursday morning. According to her arrest report, this went down in a WhatsApp group chat of about 215 students.
Oh, that was too damn many people to be just saying cracking jokes like that, honey. I thought it was just like a little, a perch. She 200 or never mind. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Students were discussing an event that was to take place Friday at the Ocean Bank Convocation Center on campus to make their capstone presentations. An FIU police officer read some of the statements in court.
The exact words utilized was, "There's going to be a bomb in the Ocean Bank Convocation Center, and it's going to be at Jonathan's fault," one of the members in the chat.
7 News obtaining some bits of that chat. It seemed the student wanted the event rescheduled and wrote, quote, "Netanyahu, if you can hear me, drop some bonbons for us capstone students in Ocean Bank Convention Center." Other students wrote they didn't take that text lightly. She later in the chat wrote, quote, "I wrote a dumb joke that should not have been made."
I can understand your position, Miss Corey, and you're saying this is a joke, but to an objective person, it's not a joke, and there would be enough for probable cause. I'm not saying it's enough for beyond a reasonable doubt. I don't know what this is going to be able to prove at trial. But for purposes of this hearing, I believe there is enough for probable cause.
Wow, she said, you're saying this is a joke, but to an objective person,
Right.
this is not a joke, and it's enough for probable cause is insane. Like, did she just forget about a little something we call the First Amendment,
Right.
the Bill of Rights,
Right.
the Constitution? And to those of you thinking, and I saw a lot of this online, the girl made a bomb threat, bro. It's not a joke. I got a number of DMs just like this last night. Let's see it again. Let's go back to the chat. Here's the exact language. Quote, "Netanyahu, if you can hear me, drop some bonbons for us capstone students in Ocean Bank Convention Center." Within the larger context that this would somehow get her and other students out of having to do some school presentation or whatever. You let me know if I'm off base here, but That to me seemed like an obvious joke, and one that is not at all too dissimilar to the joke that I opened this video with. Like, Netanyahu, please take care of my annoying ex-wife. She's got a nuclear weapon. I mean, this is bonkers, right? This student, does she command the Israeli military? No, obviously not. Was Netanyahu in this chat to receive the message from her? No, he was not. It was an obvious joke. It read like a joke. So tell me, what was or what is the probable cause? Well, this might be it right here.
Democratic primary, how might this be emblematic of Democratic positions on Israel writ large?
Okay, so you see Al Sayed going up, and there.
I'm gonna stop it there because no need to linger. Like, no need to linger. I had already read the article last night because it was one of them articles. I didn't know Shamar was in it on Cardi B tour. Hold on, let me put it. Oh my god. She bought a Shamar. That is so cool. Oh, I was just trying to build one of these. Hold on, give me a second. Oh, okay. So it's like a little. Hold on, go back, cause he got like a little. He did it so fast. Okay. Okay, so he. Oh, sorry. You know I'm on a YouTube short. You know I gotta adjust. So you see, he got like a little plank down there at the end, pre-planked, whatever you want to call that. And then he has, please, he got something here. It looked like it went under. I wasn't saying I was gonna try to build one exactly like this, but you know. I like that little middle piece with the rocks and then the dirt, topsoil, whatever you want to call it, dirt. Okay, oh, that's cute. Ooh. Child. Stop playing with them, honey. Stop. Oh, that rain. I like that. That was nice. So satisfying. So satisfying. I can't deal with no ass. I really can't. She's delusional at this point, if you ask me. I'm just saying. Let me go. In the meantime, no, I didn't take no nap. Like, I can't even, you know, I can't, even if I wanted to. I'm scrolling. It was somebody who I was just trying to go see, but I forgot. Oh, Shamar was at Cardi B. You know, I'm about to die, so my needs to be charged. My mic. In the meantime, in between time, love you. Bye. Mwah.